Sexuality is said to be matters of personal, sexual desire and choice. We believe that our preferences are driven by biological instincts and natural tendencies. In our video, however, we're going to explain how sex is actually a construct of many outside factors. Society has the ability to manipulate our beliefs and desires surrounding sex. There are ways of repressing our desires, and how society tells us no. For example, if a woman wants to date another woman, they are faced with stigma and discouragement. But society can also use positive reinforcement to persuade us. There are many sociological benefits to following normalized roles such as acceptance, understanding, and support. Society chooses which behaviors and activities to reward and which to punish by judging which social factors, like race, age, and gender, make up one's sexuality. We have decided that some of these factors, like heterosexuality, being married, and monogamous, are placed in the category of good sex, which is viewed as normal and natural, whereas others, like homosexuality and promiscuity, are placed into the category of bad sex. We view bad sex as unnatural and abnormal. The rewards that come with practicing good sex encourage people to shape their sexuality around positively perceived social norms, while discouraging the practice or identity of others who don't quite fit these norms.
The first social factor we'd like to address is sexual identity. There was a time before division among sexual identities, like homosexuality and heterosexuality, were even a thing. Once these terms were created, we began to believe that heterosexuality was normal sex because we believed the opposite of our genders made us naturally attracted to the opposite sex. A truly masculine man would only naturally be attracted to a truly feminine female, and vice versa. Heterosexuality is a factor that falls into the good sex category. This factor is pushed onto us starting at a very young age. This is extremely important for school-age children. These children are at impressionable stages of their lives while attending this social institution. Kids learn through examining the actions of their peers and teachers. So if schools are acting as a place that facilitates heterosexuality through activities like prom and PDA, but punish students who identify as other sexualities, then they will end up perceiving heterosexuality as the only positive sexual identity and potentially be discouraged to follow other desires. Within our society, we do allow for some fluidity with sexuality, but even this lenience has double standards and inequalities. It is much more acceptable for women to experiment with their sexuality than it is for men. This makes exploring sexual desires easier for women, but can yet again discourage men from pursuing desires that might not fit societal norms.
Our current legal systems are based on two genders, female bodies as women and male bodies as men. All are said to be based on biology. With these genders comes expectations of how to act as a man or a woman. Men are expected to do dominance, women are expected to do submissive. All of this is socially constructed, yet seen as natural because it is derived from biology. Those who do not follow these norms are marked as being unnatural. They have done gender wrong and will be labeled in our society. Heterosexuality is perceived as natural since genders are opposite. Those who choose to do their proper gender are actually doing inequality. Since heterosexuality is socially maintained and relies on this gender inequality structure, men doing dominance is embedded in social structures and will always result in men having more power and social standings than women. Following what is said to be natural in our society is actually reproducing sexual inequalities in our everyday affairs. This gender binary system that is said to be based on sex is based on societal norms. These systems of stratification do not end with gender. They interact with other systems of control like race and class. Let's take intersectionality, a concept that can be used to understand an individual's positioning on the basis of race, sex, class, and ability. This can be used to explain how different structures interact to shape identity. We can better understand this concept by analyzing the sexual double standard. and combining it with beliefs about race. The sexual double standard states that men can't control themselves and women should prevent assault. Black people have been deemed hypersexual in our society. As a result of this and history, black women have been labeled sexual and demanding, used as a way to justify the rape of black women by white men during slavery. Today, there's a lower conviction rates of men for raping black women. These concepts combine inequalities in being a woman and black to leave black women unprotected in society. White men, on the other hand, have been privileged on the basis of race and gender. Using rape as an example, white men have lower rates of conviction for committing rape. The hypersexuality myth of blacks have led black men to being perceived as overly sexual. This has led them to being tops in gay relations, or assumed to be, since they are assumed to be inherently aggressive. This belief also follows heteronormativity, as tops are perceived as masculine and manly. Using these models, it is clear how sexual practice, race, class, and all aspects of identity connect and result in power and disadvantage. Sexuality as a construction is complex in its working. Society pushes people to act sexually in ways that will reproduce current sexual structures through the means of rewards and or simply fitting in. Sex, in fact, is not just a function of biology and personal preference, but rather is influenced by the forces of social institutions and structures. Society creeps into our most intimate moments. They aren't as intimate and private as they are meant to seem.